Since you're most likely a new player, let me say this. Not only welcome to my channel, but also welcome to Warframe. My name is SentinelGray, and this is part 2 in a guide series for new players getting to Warframe. Part 1 was all about what is Warframe, so if you do not know that, go ahead back and watch that video, then come back here. The reason for this guide is because not only does Warframe have a lot going on in it, but almost all of it can be thrown at you at such a fast pace you do not know what to do. This video, along with the rest of them in this series, is hopefully going to keep you at the right track without being overburdened. And if you have any questions during the video, you can either put them down in the comments below or find me over on my Twitch channel. Most of the time, talking through Twitch lets me get ideas and information across a lot better than just typing it out through text. If you want, you could find a link for my Twitch channel down in the description box below. First and foremost though, in case you're watching this before or during your download for the game, I want to try and give you a suggestion to make your life in Warframe start off a little bit easier. In the beginning, you'll have 3 Warframes to choose from along with your starting weapons. It's my opinion that you should choose the Excalibur Warframe as your starting frame and choose the Skana Sword, the Bratton Rifle, and the Lotto Pistol as your entire starting loadout. Without trying to get too much into it, Excalibur is an awesome starting frame that will take you far without having to spec too much into his abilities. He's fun and easy to use and is literally the one the game suggests for new players. On the other hand, the weapons that I told you to start out with are going to make combat far less frustrating for you in the beginning. And if you want to give this game an honest try, I would suggest starting out with them, since the alternative options, such as a bow and throwing knives, act like they do in real life. You have to lead your targets and account for distance, not something I recommend for beginning players. And don't worry, the other frames and weapons that you don't pick can all be acquired later, so it's not like you're going to lose out on them forever. So after you complete the introductory quest, which, by the way, your hand is held through almost the entire thing, you're pretty much left to your own devices and probably have no idea what to do next. Let me help you with that. Your underlying objective in this game is to complete your star chart. What is a star chart? Well, go to your navigation hub in your ship and you will see. The star chart is the combination of all the different types of planets and locations all around the system. Now, if you look at a location, you'll see a whole bunch of nodes on whatever planet you're looking at. These are your missions. Missions in Warframe have a lot of variety, but it's nothing you haven't seen before in other games. Protect the target, hack the mainframe, escort the objective, and even an objective that basically just says kill. Completing all these missions are exactly how you complete your star chart. By completing every node on every location, you'll have full access to farming methods for Warframes, weapons, materials, pets, experience points, and a few other things that I won't get into yet because I don't want to overload you. While completing your star chart, new quests will open up to you. Some of these quests have direct story implications, and others are just quests for Warframes that you can only build after you've done their respective quest. The ones that aren't Warframe specific are extremely important though. While you're just out there completing your star chart, I'll admit, there's not much in the way of story. I mean, yeah, you'll have to slay a few bosses that are a threat to the system at large, but there's not much depth behind them. And for the most part, that stays true until you reach a point to where you can do a quest called the Second Dream. If you're someone who's big into RPG elements and the story of a game that you're playing, I highly suggest giving Warframe a fair shot by at least playing until the Second Dream quest. This quest and the impact it has hits all players so hard that it's almost an unspoken rule to not talk about it publicly so you don't spoil it for other people who could potentially play Warframe. Up until that point, the story feels lacking in so many different ways, but the Second Dream and everything that happens after it hits so hard and it is so good, it'll make you want to continue playing the game if you're on the fence. Just trust me, if you get to the Second Dream and you still don't like or don't want to play Warframe, then it's fair to say that you gave the game the best shot that you could. The biggest downside to these main story quests, like the Second Dream, is that you can only do them solo. Overall, Warframe is pretty much a co-op game that allows you to have up to 3 other people in your squad at one time, with a max of 4 people in a squad. Most of the time, and during your journey completing your star chart, this is a very welcome thing. However, if you're one of those people that wants to try and digest as many story elements as possible, even the small little ones that aren't a part of big quests, it can be a drawback. Some of the different frames in Warframe are linked to some of the boss encounters, meaning that if you want to know some details behind a boss and who they are, it's best to take on the mission solo first. During late game, it's extremely easy to zoom through a boss mission within a matter of seconds because of how powerful you can make your frames and weapons. So if you're not in the mindset of getting things done and just want to kind of vibe out and play, I suggest you do everything with a closed squad, then open it up in case you're having issues. And believe me, you will at one point or another. Though, if you're playing to just complete your star chart, I'd suggest to leave your party open so that you don't have too much trouble in case you're underleveled. Which leads me into something else. Underleveled isn't really the right term to use for Warframe. Most things in Warframe don't matter on your level. It matters more about which mods you have on your equipment. From your frames and weapons to your pets and even your little hidden blade thing you use to hack with. Mods are the main way in which you can deal or take extra damage and how powerful your abilities are. I'm not going to go into this because it's a lot. The next video in the guide is all about your arsenal, and that's going to include everything that you can get and use from your arsenal. After that, there will be a video specifically on mods because there is a ton of information to go over, and I don't want to tell you about that on this basic level of stuff. Most pieces of equipment max out at level 30, and if you're just starting Warframe now, level 30 is all that you'll be dealing with at this point. We'll talk about that other stuff later. Leveling up equipment, though, increases its capacity for mods instead of doing what most games do, which is increase how powerful it is. Meaning, if your Skana does 120 damage at level 1, it's going to do that same amount of damage at level 30 if you don't place any mods into it. As a beginner tidbit about mods, quality is much better than quantity. Remember that. It'd be far better to have mods that are more powerful instead of a bunch of mods that do tiny little things. Finally, getting your equipment to level 30 rewards you with progress of your mastery rank, or MR as the player base calls it. MR doesn't really do anything as far as gameplay goes. However, some equipment is restricted unless you achieve a certain mastery rank. Like you can only build these types of weapons at mastery rank 7 or so on. While playing Warframe, you can have different types of weapons and gear built in your foundry as you play so that when something in your arsenal reaches level 30, you can swap it out for something else to further increase your mastery rank. Granted, you don't have to do this. If you want to stick with the same gear for a while because it's maxed out at 30 and you have good mods on it, you can do that. But usually the weapons that are locked behind a certain MR rank are much more powerful and can totally eclipse your starting gear. Like I said though, I'll go over more of that in the arsenal video that I'm planning. The final chunk of information that I want to give you is this. You can thrive in Warframe if you look outside the game for help. If there's ever a material you need to farm out and want a good spot, you can easily go online and find a place. If you want to find out where to get the blueprints to a certain Warframe, you can do that as well. There are some sites that go as far as to give you accurate drop rates on which items come from each mission so that you'll know you might have an easier time getting one blueprint as opposed to another and exactly how to get them. Don't overlook using outside sources to help you understand this game or to gain more information. There's plenty of things that the community has discovered and explained in far greater detail than I can ever put in a video to retain your attention. Though, don't get me wrong, I want to be able to tell you guys every little shred of information that I can, but if I do that, then we'll be sitting here for like half an hour for a single topic, like mods. I would say use my guides as a starting point. From there, you can learn more about a specific topic by looking it up and going through multiple resources. If this seems like a lot of work or too much work for you, then you aren't going to enjoy playing Warframe. Warframe is a super grindy game, so if putting a little work into finding the information you need is too much for you, then so is the grind. That's going to do it for part 2 to this guide. There is so much more information that I want to relay to you guys, but Warframe just has so much information in general. Once you start doing your own research, you'll kind of find that out. So I'm trying to help you guys get in the right direction. Part 3 though is going to go over your arsenal, like I said, and that includes like what equipment you can have, some of your pets, some of that stuff. While part 4 is going to be solely about mods, since the mod system can be a bit much. Remember, if you like the video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more and follow with the guide. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you all next time. And remember, keep your heads up and be kind to each other. Bye now.